empezamos ya con la última mesa de este interesantísimo fórum, que es para contar casos de éxito en la temática que nos ha traído aquí, que son las Smart City, Smart Destinations. Como la mesa es bastante variada y la única que habla español como idioma principal soy yo, creo que voy a intentar bajar un poco al terreno y vamos a intentar hacerla en inglés. Y así, aunque sea un inglés internacional, por lo menos nos entendemos todos, ¿no? So I'll switch into English now, and I'll start presenting my partners in this round table. First of all, and before talking about why I'm here, okay? So, well, my name is Patricia Fraile, and I'm a manager for the ICT Canarian regional cluster, okay? That's why we are here. We've collaborated with Casa África and PROEXCA in organizing or putting together this event, which we find is really interesting for the ICT Canarian companies. And also it's part of strategy, okay? It's not one event only, but it's part of a medium long-term process or project that we want to implement and start collaborating with our neighbors, okay? Not only Africa, but also Azores and Madeira, who are not here today, but we also invited them, and obviously our African friends and neighbors, okay? So I'm going to start introducing people in this round table. First of all, I would like to introduce, although we had the opportunity to listen to him yesterday as well, Stephen Blessing Ackah. He's a co-founder of the UAE, African Mentoring Development Consortium. And I think he's here to present us with this interesting initiative. That is on my left hand, okay. The next person on the round table is Diego Conforti. He's the Chief Business Officer of Zed, ED, or how do you say Zed? Zed, okay.
Zed.
He is also going to present us a very interesting success story in smart cities developed by his company. On my right side, we have next to me Miguel Correia. We also had the opportunity to listen to him yesterday. He's the managing director in ICOM. And last but not least, relax, Pedro Leite. He is the managing director in Global Eda. Okay, we also had the opportunity to listen to him yesterday, but I think they are going to present us new interesting things. So, well, first I wanted to talk about what we are doing here. I mean, in smart cities, and I'll come back to that afterwards if we have time in the questions time. We are the Canary Islands. Is a very small region, okay, and 7, 8 islands somewhere. Very small, very fragmented territory. And when we talk about smart cities, normally what companies have in mind are these huge cities, okay, huge. I mean, our biggest city is Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. We had the opportunity to listen to Fran Santana telling us all about this project he has, the council, the local council has for the city, but it's only around not as, I mean, 400,000 people living in Las Palmas. It's still a small city, okay? It's nothing compared to other big, huge cities around the world. So what we believe in, and also on the other hand, in our association, we are small companies because they are Canarian, and I think it's in the same for Azores. We are very small, very SMEs mostly, and micro companies, so we don't have these huge solutions, okay, for like these big platforms for these huge cities. So what we've tried to do is develop a new solution for small territories. That's what we are trying to put together, and we are concentrating on our efforts in smart cities, okay? And so we came with this new solution called ciudades. We are working on it, and what is good about it is that it's the result of the cooperation of many companies within the cluster, okay? Not one or two, but many companies that are involved, giving their solutions to put together in an interoperability system. Interoperable, I don't know. Please bear with me with the English. But that's what we do, and I will try to come to that afterwards if we have time in the question time about how these smart people who are with me now see the challenges of small territories. Okay, so well, first of all, I would like to give the floor to Stephen. If you would like to start with your presentation of your success case.
Thank you very much. My name is Stephen Blessing Ackah, co-founder of the United Arab Emirates African Mentoring Development Consortium. Thank you very much for the organizers for inviting us for this program. We are much grateful, and also to my colleague from Ghana, from the Office of the Mayor. We are much grateful for this great opportunity. Thank you. I would like to give a very short presentation, and starting, I would like to give an overview of why we have the name, the UAE African Mentoring Development Consortium. In 2015, we went for a similar conference like this in the UAE, and we saw a particular need, and the need was that, for example, if you come to Ghana, the UAE didn't have an embassy, so mostly what they were doing was to use their business chamber to facilitate some of their job, the opportunities within West Africa, specifically in Ghana. So we approached them and we mentioned to them that we are currently running entrepreneurship program for universities in Ghana. So they actually saw the need, and they realized was that why don't they come together for us to build a collaboration? Because since they don't have an embassy, the easiest way for us to build collaboration was to use the entrepreneurship space to actually collaborate. So we were able to set up the UAE Africa Mentoring Consortium, and the whole idea was to actually select top CEOs in the UAE and also top CEOs in Ghana to run a mentoring program for our startups. But within the next 6 months, a lot of people developed interest, and we had people from Washington, people from Australia, and other parts of the world joining our global mentorship program. If you look here, we run 3 basic programs, which is the dignity facilitation, because if you go to Asia, for example, a lot of countries in Asia don't have embassies in Ghana. So we mostly run their entrepreneurship meetings, business meetings on their behalf through some of the embassies that we have contact with. The other thing we also do is we run the executive global startup program, which is kind of what we are doing now in Ghana. And as the name goes, executive global, because we have a cluster of partners across the globe that have come to partner with us. And that's why we have the name executive global, which mostly run in every 3 months in a year. Then our new project, which was launched with the World Business Angel Investment Forum, was the African Business Passport. We did that because, and I'm happy we have our mayors from Africa here, because we know sometimes if you want to travel, it's very difficult. You may have an opportunity, but traveling is a bit a challenge for you to have in terms of visa. So, and for example, we do receive a lot of experiences from CEOs that have the financial capacity, but it's difficult, they reject them at the embassy. So the idea was to partner with the World Business Angel Investment Forum and to develop the African Business Passport. So the whole idea is that when you join our network, we facilitate things on your behalf so that you'll be able to access the visa and also go for any kind of business that you want to do in that country of your destination. So that's why we launched the Business Passport. And currently we have top 20 CEOs in Ghana that have joined our program. And I think it makes it easy, and I'm actually also a beneficiary, because when I was coming, when I went to the embassy, I mentioned and I showed them the passport as well, and they said they will be able to assist us to get the actual visa as well. So that is what currently we are doing in Ghana. What we are actually running with our incubator program is we have 3 different models, and the first model is the a 3-month startup building program, which we are focusing on the universities, because we realize that there are a lot of ideas in Ghana, and especially in Africa as well. And the question is, these are several ideas that people always want to do things on their behalf, because there is no one platform for them to engage. So when we wanted to launch our startup program, specifically the incubator program, we had the interest of nurturing ideas. So we partnered with universities, and the universities was our key, because if you look at the ILO report in 2015 to 2018, unemployment in Africa is gradually increasing. So in that sense, what should we do? The best option is that if these people have ideas, and why don't we develop these ideas? And already they are also educated. So why don't we start our incubator program in the universities? Because also if you look at the financial aspect of it, it's very expensive to build an incubator hub, like the tech hub that we saw. It's very expensive to build one in Africa. So we realized that the easiest way was actually to build collaboration with the universities, and we signed a very good partnership with 7 universities, but specifically 3 major ones that we are working with, and we ran a 3-month mentoring program for these startups focusing on the university students, and it's been very successful from 2015 to date, because out of the people that have gone to our program, we have received the Minister of Education coming on board to actually sign an MOU with us to see how we want to inculcate this as a national program in our education system. This is because, as I said, talent is the key thing that we need to actually start identifying. And if you identify the talent, you cannot identify the talent on the street, because you need to bring it into the formal aspect of it for people to actually appreciate the talent. And that's why we brought up the startup incubator program. The other thing that we also do is the 3-month small and medium businesses that we run a capacity building program for them, because the key difference here is that the first one is for startups who are already graduates. But with the SMEs, for those of you that are from Africa, you appreciate the fact that you can have an unemployed, someone that didn't go to school, yet he has been able to hustle to get to establish a business. But because he didn't go to school, he doesn't believe in accounting, he doesn't believe in any foundation that will establish his business. So the whole idea was that, then in that sense, let us develop, plan a 3-month capacity building training for them. So when our ability to do that, now what we do is that we now merge these local CEOs to our startups. So mostly we are supposed to charge these SMEs because they have money, but we decided not to charge them because we want them to reinvest into our startups. So when we run a 3-month program for them, during the pitching stage for our first graduate startup program, then we invite them to come and sit and listen to the idea. Then they can now invest into our startup. The last one we did this year was we had 100 100 of them, and 50 of our CEOs came, and they are really investing into them. The other interesting thing that we also do is that since most of these SMEs are already established, but they need some form of collaboration, we identify some of the key services that they need. So, for example, in terms of the tech aspect, is what mostly we assist them a lot. And if you look at the research that we did, one of their key interests is on the tech and also on the marketing space, because somebody might have a product that he wants to showcase, but there's a startup that have developed an app or have a lot of ideas in the social media space like Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, and others. So the person will be able to now partner with the SME to actually promote the business that the SME also have. So that is what we also do. Then the last thing that we run is the global pitching platform. As I told you, we're able to have a very good partnership with the UAE and also Washington, and as well as in Australia. So we run an online pitching platform because we want to do the crowdfunding. You know, funding is very difficult in Africa. So we've developed the global pitching platform whereby we can put our startups online for angel investors to actually look at how they can actually support them. And if you look at some of the funding that we mostly attract is the venture fund, the angel fund, the endowment fund, and also the private equity for the SMEs. So these are some of the things that we've been running for the past from 2015 to 2018. I would like to share with you some of the success stories that we've encountered since 2015. All right, so when we started in 2015, we were able to mentor 100 SMEs because that is where we needed the foundation. So our interest was actually on the SMEs, people that have made it but they didn't go to school. So we were able to put them into a 3-month program. And out of the many that we had, we selected top 100, and we partnered with the Pinnacles University to have that program fully established. So most of them gave back. They gave back to us in the form of support, and they funded our 2016 project. In 2016, we launched an incubator program with Pinnacles University, the same university, and we were able to run a successful 3-month mentoring program for them. And what we were targeting was, we were looking at fintech, we were looking at agro-business, we were looking at tech in aviation, we were looking at e-sport, and also e-service in terms of transportation. So these were the key sectors that we're very, very interested in. And we were able to go through this successful program with the top startups that we had. And in 2017, because it was a change in government, because our election was in 2016, so we had a change in government, and that is where the government was also trying to identify a lot of ideas. So they saw our concept, and we were able to run a lot of partnerships with the government of Ghana. So we launched what is called the Presidential Idea Program, which we identified 3 basic universities for them to work with. And out of that, we selected top 100 startups from 3 universities, and we were able to run a successful 3-month program with them. If you come to Ghana, we are fortunate because we have a very big data center available. You just have to pay a small fee. So we're able to take them through this at the center for a 3-month program. We brought in the number 3 woman in technology called Madam Robin Beret from California, who came specifically to take them through the coding technique. So if you come to Ghana, we have top 30 startups that are fully going through coding for their apps and other tech program project that we are running. In 2018, one of the key things that we were looking at was the alternative sources of funding. As you all know, it's difficult to access funding. You always have to either partner with people outside the country or look for other sources. So one of the ideas was to actually do was something unique, which we are sharing with the World Bank to actually look at it, and I think it will also help some of our African countries here. We are fortunate to have what is called a lot of natural resources. If you come to Ghana, we have gold, we have diamond, we have coffee, we have a lot of them. So the idea was to actually launch what is called the Ghana Job Bank. And the Ghana Job Bank allows a country to reserve 10% of their natural resources fund so that could go into entrepreneurship project. So we had a very good meeting with the president, and we told him that we needed to set a committee to actually have that fund available. And when we started, the president also introduced us to the Liberia vice president. So she came all the way to have a meeting with us. So we are still in a very good talk between Ghana and Liberia, and we want to launch the Africa Job Bank. So the bank will be there for entrepreneurs through the natural resources that we have, because we need to benefit, the youth need to benefit for the natural resources, which most other countries are not. So this is the idea that we saw, that to sustain our entrepreneurship project across Africa, we need a reserve from our natural resources. So we had, if the projector was okay, you could see when we launched, we had the former president, President His Excellency John Kufuor, as our patron, who also brought the Liberian vice president on board for us to have this launch, and we are still working on the process. The other thing that we also saw was that within, across West Africa, people are doing so many things. Ministers, private sector, everybody want to do entrepreneurship, everybody to do incubator program. But the question is, we didn't have a white paper. And if you go to Google and search, maybe strategy reports on entrepreneurship mostly is by the ILO. So we saw the need that, in that sense, why don't you collaborate and be able to partner with Harvard University? We also had an agency from the Netherlands called Sympolicy, and we came out with this report, which is first in Africa, which is the Ghana Strategy Report. So the Ghana Strategy Report actually is strategies to curb unemployment in Ghana and across West Africa. And this, currently we are speaking with other heads of state across West Africa to see the need to actually have this report. The report actually focuses mostly on entrepreneurship, because we have identified 7 key actors that can support Africa in terms of startup and entrepreneurship. And the first thing we look at is the government of Ghana. So because this is a case study of Ghana, so if, for example, you're from Ivory Coast, we look at the government of Ivory Coast. The second actor is the local government. The local government play a key role in identifying ideas and also supporting entrepreneurs. So the local government, which is the mayors, have also a very key role in supporting our entrepreneurship program in Africa. Then the third one is the international bodies, because we think that we've been very successful to this point because of our global partnership that we receive from the UAE, from the US, and also from Australia. So we think that, and the ILO has also been very supportive, and also the USA that have been assisting us a lot. And I'm happy to say that we've received a very good support from one woman called Madam Bisila Bokoko. She's the first lady to set up the Spain-US Chamber of Commerce. And when we met her since 2015, she has been assisting us a lot. So we think international bodies play a key role in building the startup ecosystem in Africa. Then the third one was the non-governmental organizations. And I think it was clear in our presentation when they were talking about the park, where the university set up a foundation. So it's something that we are also beginning to speak to our people to see how we can partner with a lot of non-governmental agencies. Then the youth as well. The youth have a lot of ideas, but they need to be directed. And the first step is mentoring program. They need to have access to mentoring program. They need to have access to simple things that they can actually go through for them to enable them to build a very good program. And one of the major things that we also tackling was the communities, which is the smart cities, because for us currently, we've realized that one of the difficulty aspects in Ghana is our financial sector. So quickly we're able to collaborate through our international body, and we've partnered with FinTech Global, which they are part of the founding fathers of blockchain. He's called Mr. Ernest Mbikum, and Mr. Ernest have visited us in Ghana last 2 months, and we've set up the asset-backed project. So what we want to do is that all the government projects through the youth should not be accessed through a bank. We want to use the blockchain because he has built the KYC platform on the Interstellar platform. For most of you that understand a lot of blockchain, he's built an Interstellar that allows you to know the KYC. So you don't just go and withdraw money. You now have, the form for transaction they are making. At the end of the month, you can just go to your bank and just get all the details. So it brings transparency, it brings accuracy, and it's going to reduce corruption, as people mostly think that Africa is corrupt. So that's one of the key things that we've played. And also academia, because we've seen that Kiba, we adopted that strategy from Kiba, because if you go to Kiba right now, a lot of the SMEs are going back to school, not because they want to go and do something, but they just want to learn, they just want the knowledge. So realize that if Cuban is doing it and it's working, why don't you? So we sent 2 of our startups to go, and currently we are working with one, the Chile government and also the Cuban government, on how we can involve a lot of our academia into our startup program that we are having in Ghana. Then we have also been working on a very good project, which is the technical program, because the informal sector also have a lot of opportunities in Africa, which everybody knows, because in Africa somebody can just pick any electric wire and just do something. But the question is the patent, the standard board, the food and drug board, how do we support these people? So we've launched the technical project, where currently, as I'm speaking, my brother from the mayor office is aware that we've been able to sign an MOU. So now if you're an entrepreneur and you're producing a food, you have free access to go to the standard board and get a certificate. We've also been able to assist in running the food and drug board, because a lot of our product, we want to export them. Mostly when people want to do their private equity support, or when people want to give funding, they're looking at their interest. And one of the key interests is that they want, how do we export some of this product? And as we just saw a need here, because Ghana have what is called a share better, and share better can last for over 50 years. You don't need to add anything, and that is what all the currently we are exporting to Dubai, to Cuba, to Chile. But I decided to go around to find out if we have share better here, we don't have. So assuming if there's a partnership that somebody would like to partner, but they still need a standard board certificate to enable this person to have access here. So these are the things that we've actually established for our startup program in Ghana. And at this point, I would like to say a very big thank you to our partners all over the world, and also for Casa África for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Such an interesting program they have running in Ghana. I think I can think of different ways of opening a cooperation, so we'll be talking again. Okay, our next speaker, La Chuleta, Diego Conforti from Zed. Okay, you have the floor. Sorry, we don't have the presentation.
Well, we are here to solve challenges, so that's the first one we have. But let's look at the glass full, half full. It's good that this happened at the end of the 2 days, right? Okay, first of all, thank you very much to Casa África and to all the people that had organized this event. Very interesting. If you give me 1 minute, I will try to connect my card so I remember my presentation, okay? I also had a beautiful video that you will not see. You could listen to it, but I don't know if it's so good. But I will go through the storyboard at least, okay? Just one second. Yes, don't worry, I'll take you out with this. Okay, I would like, the group, the group Z is composed by 2 main, entities. One is SOTEC and the other one is Zed. I would like also, while we are here, to present to you the president of the group, Armando Muñoz, that is sitting right here. Okay. The company is headquartered based in Spain, in Madrid. Okay. And Zed is mainly present in around 50 countries around the world, focused mainly in emerging market. And what we do, as we said, we solve technological problems, and we are expert in digital transformation. Okay, this is our main goal. Yesterday I listened to one very interesting comment, was that people should be, the focus of technology should be about people. That's why, we put very big effort on the user experience. All our solution application and project are, based, of course, of technology, of content, of different solution, but user experience is key. There has to be something to be, okay. No, just checking if it was. We go on. So, said about digital transformation. We have center of to work on digital transformation. Yes. Okay. Stephen, you want to redo your presentation? Sure.
I think he deserves an applause. Thank you, go on.
Thank you for solving the problem. Okay. It's going back very quickly. Explain digital transformation, and I was telling you, center of excellence. We have several center of excellence around the world, okay, to fulfill the needs of our client. Okay, we focus on data analytics, loyalty solution, artificial intelligence chatbot, software development, digital payment, on verticals, as Stephen was mentioning before, as blockchain, as IT and facility management, robot process automation, RDA, speech to text and text to speech, and several other verticals, okay? Of course, this has to be applied then case by case, country by country, and in looking at the details. That's why what Armando always loved to say, that we are global, means that we are, of course, a global company, but we have the local touch. We have offices in the 50 countries, and we have local people in the 50 countries that understand the local needs. Okay. As you can see, our main focus is emerging market. We are very present in Latin America. In Africa, we are mainly present in the English-speaking country, okay, with headquarters in South Africa, and our objective is to expand to other countries in Africa, as Africa is 50 plus countries continent. Then, of course, we are also strong in Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. The last slide about Zed is just to tell you that these are some of our clients. Is a group that generates more than $100 million a year. Okay, and this is our focus is, of course, telecommunication, media, and technology, but also we work with bank and insurance and with fast-moving goods, with retail. That was the part of quick presenting the company. Now we go to what we call the smart city part. Okay, and what I would like to present to you is a social smart city project that we have. Is under development. We are working on in Laguna, close to Fortaleza in Brazil. Okay. It's socially affordable, smart city. Well, is a big word. It's a complex word to use. Smart city. Probably, we are in this case is a smart district, because to really think to have a smart city, probably you have to, destroy first the existing city, and build a new one. Okay, and this is not feasible. So the really smart part is to start, from zero, to do something from zero. We, of course, started from not having anything, with phase 1, phase 2, building then the ecosystem. Of course, the smart part of the district has a weight between 3 and 4% of the total cost of building a new district. Okay, so if you do it before and you have a methodology and you have industrial, etc., the cost of building things smart is not so expensive. If, of course, you have to build it later, it's a lot more expensive. I want to show you a small, it's 1 minute video. Okay, of the Laguna project that, of course, we have done in partnership with a builder. Okay.
Affordable housing is a global challenge and a key priority area for governments worldwide. The current trends in the real estate sector represent an immense opportunity to develop new tools and strategies to address this challenge head-on. Planet, by virtue of being at the centre of these disruptive and transformative trends, designed Laguna, the first affordable housing smart city in the world. Laguna shows that the global affordable housing challenge can be successfully addressed with a format aimed at building large-scale smart residential complexes. The format seamlessly integrates the smart solutions and social innovation best practices that are becoming a reality in the most intelligent cities all over the world. The Laguna project is currently under construction and is already viewed as a successful case in Brazil. Bike paths, bike sharing, car sharing, intelligent lighting, free Wi-Fi, fitness areas, home automation, fibre optics, alarm systems, video surveillance, Planet app, renewable energy, smart food. Planet's social smart city creates neighbourhoods that are energy efficient, environmentally sustainable and highly affordable. Residents of Planet's smart cities will live in communities that are well serviced, socially inclusive and where neighbours become friends.
Okay, so this is the project. The idea is we are working on 3,000 houses, is a district, and is, fully smart. Of course, our role in this is not to build the houses. Our role is all the digital part. Okay, is all the technologies behind, all the application, all the connectivity, etc. Okay. Of course, there is also the non-profit part on e-education, a lot of other things. But all of this, to build a smart district, a smart city, it's very important, the methodology. Okay. Going back, this is also sustainable because the cost, of course, of the houses is affordable for the people, in this case, in Brazil. The same we want to apply, the same we want to invest in specific countries in Africa, of course, based, on certain conditions. And why talking about the competence center? Because it's very important to have a roadmap and to industrialize all this, to build it properly, to build it efficiently, and to have the right results. Behind, on the competence center is built on 4 pillars. Of course, one is ecosystem resources, the environment, the technological system, and the society. We also work, on to build properly the smart solution on fluxogram, on a lot of important data analytics to properly define the needs of each smart district. Okay, and well, there are different phases, different steps to be taken to really define well what are the correct correct ecosystem to build for each of the smart city. Besides that, besides smart city, of course, we also work a lot on smart solutions. Okay, what I was telling you before, because it has to be applied to existing city or existing environment. As education, e-education, all the digital backpack, all the part of citizen participation to involve citizen through the technology to communicate with the government and having back and forward innovation, information, and have efficient administration, and all the part of medical care. Okay? Why telling you all this? Because, I mean, these are different solutions that we apply, but of course has to be always localized. One thing is to apply medical care in Moscow, and the other thing is to apply a medical care solution in Dakar. Okay? So basically this, I mean, is what I wanted to present, okay? And to tell you about our knowledge and success cases and the real interest we have in investing in a specific area and specific countries in Africa. Okay?
Thank you very much, Diego. I have a question, and I would like to ask it before, maybe we won't have time later. Is it, I mean, I think it's a very interesting initiative you have there in Laguna, Brazil. Is it a public or private initiative?
It's private.
Private.
Private. There are in there is private investment done there. Of course, there is a participation of the government in some part, in some form.
Okay, so for instance, you can apply this to this, how do you call in English, this housing, that, the assisted?
Affordable houses?
Yeah, here in Spain as well. I mean, you have these, I know now the construction of new houses is not very, but as you have, the obligation as a constructor or to use part of the land you have for these affordable houses. Maybe, it's a project that you can develop here.
Who has the land? Sorry. Who has the land?
The, private?
Yeah, but in this case, I mean, important part is that, find an agreement with the government for the land.
Okay.
Then, if you don't have the land, you have to build, etc. It becomes not more affordable at one point.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. We go for the next speaker we have is Miguel Correia. Do you have a presentation or?
I do have something.
Okay.
Okay. So here we are. This is like the front desk. And if you want to choose an object that you're monitoring, so let's start with a bridge. We talked yesterday about bridges. How can we monitor bridges with the accuracy of 1 millimeter? So if we go to this bridge, we're already monitoring. So you can see here that you have a lot of displacements. And what we call displacement is this. Whenever you see red, that's bad because that's a point that is moving down. When you see blue, that's also bad because that's a point that's moving up. So if you want to see how down this point is going to, we can approach to the bridge. So let's take a look at this specific point, which is being monitored. Here is the trend of the displacement that point has on that specific bridge. And you can see, not the graph, but here, that the displacement is almost 2 centimeters. And the same applies. You can easily do this by a bunch of points. I don't know how to do this here, probably like this. And then you go to the graph, and you see all the points are with the same trend of movement in that bridge. So this gives you a lot more information than just looking at the bridge and see if there is cracking or not. Because sometimes even cracks, you don't see the cracking. You just, but in this case, you see exactly what happened and when it happened. Because the satellite keeps coming back every 15 days. So if you have, sometimes you notice that a common pattern on the points, and then you're gonna see why did that happen, and then you realize that you had a very small earthquake that didn't do anything, but it has an impact on the structure. Another use case that I would like to show you is of a city, because we're talking about smart cities and how can we use technology to improve lives. In this specific case, we're going to take a look at Tallinn in Estonia. And we're going to see what's happening in Tallinn. And what we can see here is that the old town is sinking, and the neighborhood around it is coming up. So if you're dealing and if you're responsible for emergency preparedness, you know exactly where your problems are going to be. And even if you don't, if you have a very stable, an old city that is not keen to have any earthquakes or any calamities, you can also signal the collapsing buildings. So you can look at the building, see that the point is that in that building something is happening to that building. So before it collapses and kills people, families, you can actually go there and check that building, what's happening there. We do have other use cases, like the Azores. We're starting just this now. This is very new, so this is my hometown. We can see here that it's pretty stable, but it has already very displacements here, like in this specific point. And this is how easy it is to use this technology. So one of the good things is that we not only monitor from now on, we also provide the historical displacement of these points, because satellites has been in orbit since, this is a Sentinel-1 from EXA. It's been in orbit since 2015. So we deliver to the customer, to that specific area, what happened since 2015. And if the customer wants to monitor from there on, that's a different agreement. We go and monitor every 15 days. Sometimes in Europe, Spain is 6 days. And also in Portugal. It depends on the orbits of the satellites. But this is basically what I would want to show you in addition to what I showed you yesterday. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel. Is that for real? I mean, that bridge is
exactly.
really...
Yeah, it is. It is.
Gosh. Scary.
It is.
Okay. Very interesting solution. Thank you very much. Then, I mean, we'll be able to ask questions if we have any. Okay. Would you have a presentation? Yes, Pedro. Our last speaker, Pedro Leite from Globaleda.
Thank you, Patricia. Hi, everyone. Yesterday, already presented our company and some projects we are doing. And I would like to share another project that we are participating. We have an advantage because now we have a smart lamp, a new lamp, so I think it will be easier to watch the presentation. We Globaleda truly believe in partnerships. So we are collaborating with Accenture, our partner, collaborating with them in this solution. What does it mean? The electrical network that we have around the world needs maintenance. Yes, as we do, preventive maintenance is needed to have the network safe and secure and fully operated. And traditional, this is done by getting some images of the infrastructure, and then its technician analyze each image individually. This is time consuming, and it leads many times to errors, because as you can imagine, maybe a person can do 1,000 images a day, but after 20 minutes, 1 hour, looking at image very similar, this could lead to errors. So our project is intended to have a new solution for this problem. The images are collected from drones, collect of the poles and the infrastructure, and there are several infrastructures that need to this maintenance. So the image, when are taken, are being processed automatically. So the goal is that we have a platform that receive those images and then process automatically with artificial intelligence and machine learning. The goal is that the most images the system can analyze, more accurate it gets. And then the platform can show a lot of information. It can produce on a map which are the locations that need maintenance and the level of criticality of this maintenance. This here another screen of the application. As you can see here at the left, you have an infrastructure, and the system can set in high or lower or in the middle where it needs the intervention of the technicians. And also it has an application, a mobile application, because nowadays everyone has the smartphone, and the technicians in the field, this is very useful for them. So they can log in at the application, and then they can see the report of what they are going to do. They have also manuals of that specific work they are going to execute, and they have a checklist, so they can easily go to do their job. This is another image I wanted to show you. In the left, you have a physical infrastructure, and in the right, the algorithm that processes this image and can detect when it has the major necessity of maintenance, when it has rust, and it can automatically do this analysis. This is another screen that you can see the physical infrastructure and also the points the system could identify. And that's our solution for automatically do something that it have been done manually, and it's very, very time consuming, and it can origin a lot of errors. Another solution we provide, the smart cities, we must focus always on the citizen, on the person, and sometimes it's difficult for the person give the readings to the electrical company. So we talked, why not have a smart reading system? So we develop an app for each citizen can have on their smartphone, and it is very easy to give the readings to the electrical company, so that it can on the hand see what was the last consume, a lot of history on the application, and easily to send this information. And it has been since it was launched. If you want, you can look at the app stores. Since it was launched, it grew a lot of the readings of the energy. These two experience that I would like to share with you, and I hope you appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pedro. Okay, I think we have almost finished. I don't know if you have any questions for the panelists. No? Okay. I was telling before about what I wanted to put to say about these success cases, what we have had here, and also yesterday with this pitch these companies gave us. That, as you can see, all these success cases are specific solutions. Okay, we haven't had here like these huge smart city platforms. We haven't presented any of these huge, because we I don't know well the reason, but Mostly, I think it's because we think that these small solutions or more specific solutions, more vertical solutions, sometimes are enough, depending on the city where you are. You don't need these huge platforms. That's what I was talking before about the small territories, okay? So I think there is opportunity for SMEs, ICT companies, develop solutions for smart cities and smart destinations. We don't need this to make this huge investment or huge platform, but give specific solutions for the citizens, which is what we said, citizens are the center of the smart cities. We've been hearing about the challenges some of the African cities have. And we know there is technology to solution those challenges and to address those challenges. And I think these days we've had a good representation of ICT companies or technological company, not necessarily ICT, from Africa, from Spain. And I think the way to address these challenges could be collaborate among companies, okay? So this is the reason we started this project and this event, and I hope something comes from it, okay? From this event, and we get to have these joint collaborative projects, and maybe with your program in Ghana, we can start collaborating there, and maybe do that in other African countries as well. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you all for listening to us.